Hello and welcome to the Baer Workshop. My name is Baer. I'm here to build a model kit. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave Lego of the site, the Tier 2 Blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can apply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, guess what? You can just go ahead and lurk. Lashberg is here. Hello, Lashberg. Happy to have you here. Sorry, I am checking one thing real quick, but I will chat with you in a moment. Sorry, I just have to get one thing going in here that I forgot to do before the stream started, because I occasionally forget things. I know, amazing, right? How is that possible? But it's true. Anyway, hi. I'm working on the Super Gundam, which is the G Defender combined with the RX-178. Technically the G Defender is the FXA-05D, the Defender, but whatever. We got this thing that we built, and then this is going to become a backpack, and it's going to fit onto our model kit, which is partially here. That's how much we got done of the model kit. Lord Crashion's here. Hey, Lord Crashion, happy to have you here. It's a Monday. I got Manga Monday coming in. I've got the first anime of the 2025 winter season to chat with you about. That's right. Or sorry, 2026. I had said 2025. I meant 2026. I'll do that on occasion. I'm going to mess that up here and there. It's possible. It's happening. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Winter 2026 season. I have the first show that started up that I want to chat with you about. Only one so far. We'll see if there are more on Saturdays and Sundays and Monday that I want to talk about. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I often like to do. We'll go to the overhead camera so you can see what we're working on here. We got a leg done. We got this fine thing in there. So I often like to pick. I talk about anime on Mondays and Thursdays and Saturdays. Often, what I'll do is. If an anime episode comes out that day, I won't cover it that night. So on a Monday, I won't talk about any shows that air on Mondays in the afternoon. And that's just, I used to do that. I used to be like, there's two shows on Monday and I'll talk about it Monday night. No problem. Because I wanted to be like caught up and I wanted to be like, if people are like, oh, that's old news, Pat, or something like that. I didn't want that. But I've kind of come to realize over time is, that means I have to always be ready and have the time to watch a show and take notes on it. And then, so I used to just take notes and not read my notes. And then like the stream would start and I would be like, what the fuck does this mean? So what I do now is as I'm watching an episode of something, I take notes. Then, which requires me to pause sometimes go back to look at stuff. So I take a bunch of notes, I write down my notes, and then after that, I go through my notes and I summarize. Because there's stuff that like happens that like doesn't mean anything or is like, well, this character got introduced, but that went nowhere. So I'll just mention them briefly and then like say like, oh, we'll hear more from them later or whatever. But I'm not, like, I don't have to worry about this thing and what's going on here. So it takes a while. And I'm like, well, what if I have like something to do? If I have a meeting or if I'm helping out with the family or I had to cook dinner or something like, and I'm not available, like I should give myself a buffer. So I have a buffer. So generally the idea is that it has to be, it'll air like between the last time I streamed. So a Monday stream could be anime that airs on Saturday or Sunday. And a Thursday stream could be something that airs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a Saturday stream is stuff that airs on Thursday and Friday. Especially, it helps me out because sometimes I do have things to do on a Saturday. So it gives me that buffer to kind of like get through whatever I need to get through and all that. I also have like a standing thing on Fridays. Like Fridays are often tough because I'm recording a bunch of video on Friday. So like sometimes I'm just like, oh shit, I'm not watching anything today and I'll watch it on Saturday. So it just gives me a bit of a buffer. Really, it's just that I need to see my notes more than than I might otherwise need to. I just kind of need to see what's going on with them and reference my notes and all that. So So that was, yeah, that was 7 and 6. Got that done. We can put that aside. Let's work on the foot. We got to get that foot together. I need C and G. That's C. That's D, E, F, G. Okay. G is a small one. C is the big one. So yeah, so that's usually how I go about things. So this one is something that aired over the weekend, the one show I'm talking about so far. We'll see if next weekend or this coming weekend there's more stuff. Because like, basically, at least one of the heavy hitters I'm going to be covering this season hasn't, is like, I don't even think it's starting this week, right? It's the 16th. So yeah, it's not until next Friday that Frieren is starting. So like, this is kind of the weird period where it's just like, oh yeah, not everything that I want to cover is close to out. I believe that's one of the later shows that is starting this season. So by then I'll kind of like figured some stuff out. But like, yeah, I mean, I can't tell you for sure that I'm going to be covering Frieren, but I feel like I want to because it fucking rules. So the one that I'm still up in the air about is season 3 of Oshino Ko. Like, I want to watch it, but I don't think I want to watch it weekly because it really, me watching Oshino Ko season 3 weekly depends on if they start with where they left off in season 2. And if that's the case, then I'm on board. If the murder mystery and the souls transplanting elements, the reincarnation elements, and like the fact that there was like a spirit, this girl that may or may not be a crow demon, like that shit, I'm like, if that shit's there, then I'm super on board. If that shit isn't there, I am less on board. If they start with it like, well, things were weird. Anyway, it's time to work on the movie that we all got cast in. Then I'm just going to be like, because I'm a bit of a broken record on this. The dichotomy of Oshino Ko's balance of young people trying to make it in the entertainment world, and I used to be a doctor and now I'm a young man, and I am trying to figure out who murdered me and also my patient who's my mother, and who set that person up to do it. Like the fucking big mystery. And maybe also, why was I reborn? Was I reborn just for this, to figure that part out? Like that stuff, I'm maybe okay with some of the mystery not getting solved. Like the mystical elements, the reincarnation parts of it, I'm like maybe okay with that not being like a big focal point. But if they don't, like, if this season isn't starting with continued efforts to, track down the killer, I'm like, I'll be bummed out about that. So maybe I won't watch it weekly. Maybe I'll cover the first episode and then I won't cover the following ones and then just talk about it at the end of the season. I don't know. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be covering. I think I'm probably going to cover the show that I'm talking about tonight. I think I will stick with it because I enjoy the manga, and the first episode I thought was a solid adaptation. I heard from a friend, a reputable source, that the workplace dark comedy about torture is apparently like a slideshow. Apparently that they just don't have an animation budget for that show, and there's limited animation. Now, some people would call that a motion comic, but motion comics have intentionality. These are just barely anime. So I've heard that. I not that I was going to watch that show anyway, but I've heard not the most pleasant things. Let me look up the title for that because I don't remember what it is. Come on, AnyChart. The daily life of a part-time torturer. Apparently, poor animation. And when I look at the the promo art from it, it screams, this shit is not good. All motion comics were made for the PSP, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I mean, look, like, if you are bringing a comic book to life, that is interesting. But anime generally isn't bringing comic books to life. It's just an adaptation in a different medium. Let me find the promo art for this. Yes, here we go. I'm saving this image. Can I? Ooh, nope, it's an AIF, so I can't save this image. Can I save this one? I can save this one. Great. Now, if I was just at my... No, that's a fucking WebP. I can't... I'm just trying to find this fucking image to put up there. Can I post this one? Ugh, the fucking internet, man. I just want to find an image that I can save that is not the shittiest, that is not in a file format that I can then open. But yes, what I was saying in motion comics are like cool if they're intentional. It's just that anime, in my opinion, shouldn't end up being motion comics. God, I don't know if I can find this image in a thing that I can open in here without having to then download it and transfer it and mess with it. Let's see. Can I save this image? Can I open this file in OBS? I might be able to open this file type in OBS. I actually don't know. I should maybe find out. Nope. Doesn't show up as a file format I can open. Cool. Cool. What about this one? Nope, that's not going to work either. If I drag it. Nope, can't even drag it over. Yeah, that just goes away. That's frustrating. Anyway, one look at the image that they put out there, and immediately you see this image and you go, oh, I bet this is a bad production for this anime. It's a true. Yes, it is. It's bad. It looks bad. But yeah, I wish I had a good photo of it. Oh well. That's fine. Can't make it work. But yeah, there's not a lot that I was like, that came out on Saturday or Sunday that I was like, ooh, I want to watch this. Like, Journal with Witch appears nobody picked this up, which is a shame because it looks interesting. Like, I would maybe be interested in watching, maybe not weekly and not covering it here, but like, Journal with Witch is at least interesting. That's the one about the writer who the single writer who ends up adopting her niece, and they kind of like struggle to make that work. And it's an interesting premise, and it's cool that I got an anime adaptation. But I'm like, I don't know if I would really want to be watching that for sure. But I'd be interested in seeing an episode. But apparently that did not get picked up by anybody, so I can't watch that. We'll see if it gets picked up late by somebody, maybe. But yeah, I mean, that just seems like at least a intriguing premise. Because she's dealing with her own thoughts of like, because she had such a bad relationship with her sister and barely knew her brother-in-law, she's like not really grieving so much. It's more about just like the understanding of responsibility that there is now a teen that nobody else in the family wants to take in. And so she feels like, all right, I got to do it. And the kid is obviously dealing with a lot because her parents died in an accident. So it's like, that's pretty fucking heavy. That might be an interesting anime to watch. But like I said, it seemingly did not get picked up. So we'll see. Let me check Annie chart and see what is coming out this coming Saturday. If there's anything coming this. So for some people, a new show coming this Saturday that they will be like, ooh, I'm watching that, is Trigun Stargaze. And I understand that is something that like that would get people going. They'd be excited to watch that. Me, not as much, because I don't like the art style of doing this, and I didn't like Stampede, so Stargaze is not something that I'm like, ooh, I can't wait. So I'm like, I think I'm good. Let's see. But like maybe next Saturday I'll watch the first episode of Reincarnated as a Dragon Hatchling. Because that seems pretty neat. Did anybody? Ooh, that didn't get picked up. Isekai's not getting picked up is usually really weird. I bet that is picked up by Crunchyroll, and they just have so many shows they didn't announce it. I mean, it's possible that no one picked it up, but that's usually pretty rare, as I said, for foreign isekai, which are very popular, and that is a fairly popular manga. So I would be surprised if no one got that one, but if no one got that one, I don't know. But yeah, dude gets reincarnated in another world as a dragon. And he's gonna do his fucking best. Like, yeah, pretty good. So on the anime tip, I did want to say that I on Saturday I talked about an anime that I didn't know was going to have more episodes. So I do need to not a retraction, because I stand by my thoughts on it, but I do need to talk about, briefly at least, Genosha, which is the like time loop Among Us anime. It's the easiest way to say it. Like they say they were actually inspired by Werewolf, and not Among Us, but it's set in space. It's fucking Among Us. I had commented that episode 12, I was like, this feels like a non-ending, and it's kind of weird that they just ended this way, because it's just like, it's like a callback to something that happened in episode 2 with a different character than what said it. And I was like, that's kind of interesting, but that's not really enough for even a cliffhanger. Apparently there's 13 episodes. And according to my anime list, the number of episodes is question mark. So we're not sure how many. Maybe they'll get some updates. So it might be just a 2-core, but it also might be more than that, and I don't know how that works. But at the very least, it seems like it's a 2-core, which could be interesting. Am I planning to continue to watch Genosha? Probably not. I don't think I'll keep watching it. I might at the end of this season, like, go and do that, but I don't know. I was very surprised when I saw that there was episode 13 was airing on Saturday, and I was like, what? So I might check it out. I probably won't. Let's see. Yeah, I'm like, probably not gonna follow through on it. But there was like a thought that I'm like, I kind of liked it. I'm interested to see where it goes. But also, I feel like I like Genosha more because I watched it in chunks. I watched it in batches of like 3 or 4 episodes at a time, and I think that helped me like it a lot. I think weekly, I would have been like, all right. And who was that again? And what was their relationship the first time they did this? Like, I think I would have just been lost if I watched it weekly. So watching it in batches, I think ended up being the way to go. So if I do go in and check it out, it won't be weekly. Well, I'll say that. I'm also trying to figure out why AnyChart listed Fate Strange Fake as an isekai. Not that their metrics for isekais are the end-all be-all, but generally they have all of they usually list all of the isekais. Again, not necessarily all all of the like they usually do a good job of it. So I'm like, I don't know. They're not listing it. Like, they're listing it, so I'm like, that means that that Fate anime is an isekai, but I don't know why it is and why it's counted as one. So I got to figure that out before I make my video. I have 2 weeks to figure it out, but I do have to figure it out. I can't do my blank number of isekai in the winter 2026 season and then be like, oh, this is one of them. I guess? I don't know. So we'll see. Through all of them. I'll figure it out at some point. All right, we did that. We did that. We can do this. Get this leg in, and then we'll panel line it. I thought we could talk about this article from Kotaku. 31 games we can't wait to play in 2026. And maybe like there'll be someone on this list who are like, I could totally wait for that. And there'll be others who are like, actually, yeah, man, that sounds fucking dope as hell. I can't wait for that. Like, you know, we can talk about it. Their list, this is apparently in release order. Resident Evil Requiem. You know, Leon's in it. I haven't been super into a Resident Evil in a long time, but I know that modern Resident Evil games hit pretty hard for people. So I totally understand why folks would be fucking stoked about some of that shit. So like, yeah, like I totally get it. Totally get why people would be excited for that. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. So this is a Lego Batman's kind of like take on the Arkham games. And it looks pretty great. So I'm like, yeah, totally understand. I guess I'm kind of just like looking at this list and thinking like, do I understand why someone would be hyped for this? Even if I'm not myself hyped up about it. Forza Horizon 6 is coming out sometime this year. And yeah, that's the open world Japan. I think there are going to be a lot of really nice screenshots and videos of this game because I bet it's going to be rendered and looking fucking gorgeous. While Forza is not my jam, I know plenty of people where that's their fucking jam. So I'm happy for them to get that. And then there's a game that I'm fucking stoked about. Sometime this year, we're getting the sequel to Control Resonant. And I'm fucking amped for that because Control, obviously, I'm a big Control fan. I think that game whips fucking ass. So, a sequel to Control, I'm very eager to play, and I hope it's great. I'm excited for that. I mean, you know, I think I've played more Firebreak than most people because I have a friend that really likes Firebreak. So we've been playing that. Also because the multiplayer crew that I am in doesn't play Arc Raiders. Luckily, collectively, there was a little bit of well, we should try it out, but enough people were like, actually, I don't want to do that we have not, which is nice. Mouse PI for Hire looks pretty cool. like doing a black and white style cartoon that is also a shooter, an old school shooter, is a fun idea. So I'm excited about that. That's coming out March 19th. I don't know if I'll get it because I don't think it's a PlayStation exclusive. It might be, or a timed exclusive. I don't remember. So it's not a game I would stream, I don't think, but I'm gonna get First Light. I'm gonna get 007 First Light. I like IO so fucking much that I'm definitely gonna be playing that shit because I think it'll be a good fucking time. So yeah, I'm gonna play that game. I think it'll be neat. Kotaku's list includes a mention of Bubsy 4D, and I'm like, are they? Are people on the Kotaku staff excited about a new Bubsy game? Look, is 4D a good name? Yes. I must admit that Bubsy 4D is a good name for a video game. Like, it's good. But other than the name, I'm like, what? Nah, I'm all right. I'm okay. I trust someone I listen to on a podcast will play it. The demo of Bubsy 4D was good, says Lord Crashington. I'm glad. I'm just like not interested in Bubsy. But I'm sure someone I listen to on a podcast will play some Bubsy, and I'll get some knowledge of Bubsy 4D, which again, good name, even if I don't want to play it. The Duskbloods, which is a From Software online 8-player online action RPG. 8 players is a lot of players. That does sound pretty cool. I imagine I will see a bunch of people that I follow, YouTube streamers, playing that stuff together. I imagine I'll see some group games of that. Oh, the people that made Bubsy 4D made Demon Tides. Or yeah, okay. Gears of War E-Day is coming out this year. It's prequel to the 360 era trilogy. I have no love for Gears of War, but I know people that really love that have really loved that franchise, and I hope that this one's a good one for them. Doing a prequel is interesting, more than doing like Gears 6. Star Wars Galactic Racer. Yeah, it's a racing game. It's a racing game. That's cool. Happy for I'm happy to check that out. I like a good Star Wars game. I don't mind a goofy racer. If it's a goofy racer, that could be really good. Marathon. It's coming out in March. Lord Crash says, I do like that Microsoft had Halo and Gears trilogies they could finish, and they just didn't do that. Yeah, like, at some point you're just like, yeah, we're not going to do that. We don't need to finish the fight on this one. We're going to do something else. It's like, okay, sure. If you don't believe in it, it's going to be hard to make me believe in it, so sure. Yeah, Marathon. I don't know. I've heard some really good things about that last test of Marathon. Some people were pretty fucking stoked about that shit. So, like, yeah, all right. I hope it's good. All right, so the next step they want me to do, you're still interested in Marathon? Yeah. The next step they want me to do is they want me to build one arm, except and not give it a hand for some reason. They don't want me to build the other arm. Then they want me to build a chest, and then they want me to build the backpack, and then the waist, and then the head last, which I understand doing the head last, and then the weapons, including the hand that goes into that. And I understand all of that. I'm going to jump ahead. I'm going to build the waist because I want these legs to not just be freeform and then I have arms. Like, forget that. So we're going to jump ahead and we're going to do the waist next. You know, we're skipping a couple steps just to get the stuff we need done. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So we'll do that. A32 and A37. Is A37. Grand Theft Auto coming out the end of the year. Grand Theft Auto 6. I don't expect to buy Grand Theft Auto 6 day and date. And I say that mainly because of money, having money, and all of that. I didn't love Grand Theft Auto 5, and so like I think it's going to be a huge video game, but like I don't know if it's going to be a huge video game for me, your friend Pat. Cuz like I only liked one of the three characters in we have three main characters GTA 5 thing. So if GTA 6 is just like just one person, you're like, okay, great. Or two people, maybe that'll be good. But like, I'm not saying I have to love the characters, but I have to like, you know, part of it is, all right, well, to get through this next segment, you have to play against the guy that you fucking hate playing as. It's like, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I'm good. So I don't know. So I am kind of wait and see on GTA 6 because I'm like, you know, I think it'll probably run good and look good and all that. Also, we're getting to the point now, folks, where like some games are going to look shitty on my computer, right? Like there are going to be games that just don't look good on my setup because like that's just the reality of it. Like that is just what I have to deal with. Like my system is fine, but it's not incredible. Like I'm looking at some stuff here on there. Yeah, it's just like good, but it's not killer. I'm not, you know, I'm not, let's see. So I don't know. I'm curious if they finally matured the humor any, but not enough to buy it. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, like my PC is fine, but it is not anything to write home about. So it's like, well, I just realized I should change a little bit here. I'm looking at my stuff here in NVIDIA, realizing that I don't have I could change some of the performance on it, but I don't think I will. But anyway, like yeah, it's like, you know, it's a pretty good computer, but it's not like a crazy good computer. So I don't know. I was just looking that I could mess with my performance by increasing the voltage maximum. I don't think that makes sense to do, especially it does make sense to do now. So probably won't change my voltage maximums. Maybe I'll investigate that and see if that's a setting that I should mess around with, but certainly not a setting I should mess around with now. Probably not the best idea. Anyway, eventually, big budget AAA games are going to be like, you probably shouldn't play this video game on this computer, and I'll have to be like, yeah, you're probably right. It probably shouldn't anymore. Yeah, all right. Like that's just the reality of it. Let's see. Marvel's Wolverine looks fucking good. Eventually, hopefully that'll be on the PC and I'll be able to play that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that game. I don't care about that one. I have heard good things about Forbidden Solitaire. It is the idea is that you have found a 90s CD-ROM solitaire game, and then things get fucking weird because it's Forbidden Solitaire. And that's just a good fucking video game premise. So I want to see what the fuck that is. Oh no, I'm yawning. Sorry. There's a new Mario Tennis game coming out in February. I feel like everyone, like, that got announced and people were like, oh, okay. And then just, it kind of became like, anyway, let's talk about Metroid and Donkey Kong. And it just kind of gotten forgotten. But yeah, in February, we got Mario Tennis Fever. I like a good Mario Tennis game. You know, I don't have a Switch 2, so I won't be playing it, but I'm happy that a tennis game is coming out. Fun tennis. I'm on board. Good. All right, I need 38 here. Again, working on the waist here so that we can plug the legs in and get that all together and have that look fucking nice. We'll get that all here together there. We need these. And then we'll panel line it. We'll stick some legs on it. And we'll move on to then working on the arms. Also, so far, haven't had any stickers yet, which is great. When we do the head, I'll have to obviously build the stickers there. I also am going to have to run a poll for my $10 patrons about what I should do, because I think I'm going to finish this on Thursday. Like, I don't know for sure I'm going to finish it on Thursday, but at the very least, like Saturday for sure. That being the first Switch 2 game after Metroid Prime 4 is not great. I mean, Lord Crashington, like, I don't know. The thing that I think an important thing to remember is no first party is making a lot of games. Period. I think the expectation that first parties are going to be constantly making video games and they come out a bunch at a time is just not the era we live in. That is just unlikely. Switch 2 games come out, it's just they also come out on other places and they also come out for the Switch. Nintendo is only doing a few of them at a time because they don't have to do a lot of them to sell systems. And Nintendo makes money on the systems. So they're probably not going to put out 1,000 Switch 2 games, you know? I just think that is unrealistic at this point. Because that's, you know, it's like, there's not gonna. So it's the first Nintendo game after Metroid Prime. But it's not the first Switch 2 game, you know? It's just like, that's just the realities of it. You know, if somebody bought a Switch 2 and bought 3 video games for the Switch 2, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Metroid, then Nintendo is probably fucking stoked as shit about that. Maybe you bought a couple games on the store. Maybe you're paying for the monthly service and you get some of the N64 games. But like, they'd be fucking so psyched if somebody who bought Switch 2 and bought 3 new video games. Because a thing that I think is really important to remember is that the most popular video games on Steam in 2025 are games that didn't come out in 2025. Right? we always talk about the next big thing and huge launches and game of the year and all that stuff. And most people that play video games don't buy games when they come out. They just don't, you know? And like, is that good long-term for video games? Probably not, but it's the reality. Like, the game of the year is not being played on Steam, right? Like, in any big numbers compared to other video games that came out several years ago. It's just like, it's just a thing. Like, and I'm sure they got a bump post, but like that bump isn't like big. So like, I don't think Nintendo is like, oh no, we really need a game we need a game to come out in January. It's like, nah, it's Mario Tennis Fever is coming out in February. And it's going to sell a bunch of copies because it's a Mario Tennis game. And they'll be happy with how many copies they sell. It might move a few more systems because now you can kind of walk in and get one. It sounds like the only place it's hard to get Switch 2s right now is if you want the cheaper Japan-only Switch 2. They got Lord Crashington. You're right. Yeah, that is making my point. For a lot of people who have a Switch 2, a Animal Crossing update, which reminds them of the good times they had on their Switch, maybe some people's reason for buying a Switch. Like, yeah, there you go. There's going to be a Pokemon thing that comes out at some point. When does that come out? Sometime this year, Pokemon Champions comes out. And that's for like the hardcore of the hardcore Pokemon fans, because the percentage of people that play competitively or want the competitive nature, that don't want to just go around catching their new friends and all that and maybe being in the game, like, it's so small, but like, that's going to be for some people. Mario Tennis will be for some people. Pokemon new Mario Tennis in February. In March of this year, an Animal Crossing like Sims game, but with Pokemon. Pokemon Popopia. Pokemon Pokopia. So yeah, that's going to attract some Animal Crossing people. That's going to attract some Sims people. It's going to attract some Pokemon diehards that are always looking for a weird Pokemon game. Like, there you go. That'll do some numbers. Sometime this year, we're getting that Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, and that'll be fun. I'm curious to see if people will pay $60 for that Pokemon spinoff. Is it $60? Maybe. Yeah, maybe they will. Pokemon spin-offs do pretty good. Not necessarily crazy good, but they do pretty good. So like, it's $70. Okay. Yeah. I mean, some people will. I'm gonna play Scott Pilgrim EX. I'm excited for it. Also, it is set in the same universe as the anime. The anime is canon in this video game, and I liked the anime. It takes off. I thought that was great. It made my top 10 list. I can't remember what number it was. It might have been number 4. I don't remember, but it made my top 10 list, so I like that. So an anime based on that, or a video game based on that, like set after the events of the anime, I'm on board. That sounds good. I'm excited for a Scott Pilgrim game. Another one, I should say. Demon Tides. That's coming out in February. Nocturne is a rhythm combat game. A rhythm RPG. More Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire 2 coming out in March. Halo. And then sometime this year, we got a Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is coming out this year, and that's a Yoshi platformer, and that's something for the folks. Those can be fun. Get a little Yoshi's action. Okay, great. We got our waist done here. Let's put our side skirts on. 35 goes on one side, 36 goes on the other. We can panel line our side skirts and then get those on there. And then we're done with the bottom half of this kit. And then we can switch over to the arms and get some arms going. Couple other little notes here. The Steam users voted, and their 2025 game of the year is Hollow Knight Silksong is Steam's game of the year, and crowd voted game of the year. 43.8 million votes across 11 categories. Game of the year is Hollow Knight, as I said. VR game of the year goes to The Midnight Walk. Labor of Love Award is Baldur's Gate 3. Best game on Steam Deck went to Hades 2. I don't have a Steam Deck, but like that sounds about right. I bet that is a good time. Better with Friends, Peak. Hell yeah, Peak. Outstanding Visual Style Award goes to Silent Hill F. That's fun. Yeah. Most Innovative Gameplay Award goes to Arc Raiders. And yeah, I mean the idea of a PvPvE where you kind of don't want to do the PvP part of it because the PvE is so hard that you kind of can't, it encourages you not to fuck with people. Some people are still doing that, but especially like when it launched, the fact that it was a good amount of people who were like cool with that. Yeah, I can see it. You know, AI, audio, of course, but still, that's not what the award was for. But you know, it sucks that it was nominated. Best Game You Suck At award also went to Silksong, which I think is a fun award. That's a fun category. Best Soundtrack went to Clair Obscur. Outstanding Story-Rich Game is Dispatch. I guess it's like best story. And Sit Back and Relax Award went to RV There Yet. And I assume that it's RV There Yet because it's a group game, but only one person can drive. So you do spend some time sitting around. I don't understand this category. Also, like, relaxing is not what I would say about that game because it is, part of it is the fact that you are going to get stuck places and you have to build contraptions to unstick your RV. So I'm like, I don't know about that one. But it is nice to see it get acknowledged. I'm glad Peak won something because it's a bit Peak winning a award is like this that is all user is a bit more in line with what new games people are playing, right? Like I think that is a bit more in line than what critics are necessarily playing, right? Like because it's all Steam stuff, it's just games that came out on Steam, right? Like, so you're not going to see console exclusives that maybe were great and people liked. You're not going to see anything on Death Stranding. Now, Death Stranding PC port could end up winning some awards when it comes out because I could see people getting really fucking into Death Stranding. But right now, it's nowhere there because it was just a Steam thing. So, for just games on Steam, interesting to see. I should try to get the multiplayer crew to play more Peak. We liked Peak. We just haven't played it in a while. I might try to do that this week. Let's see. Have not had confirms here, but it looks like we got our first layoffs of 2026. Again, not fully confirmed, but it looks like there is going to be some layoffs at ERV Studio. They are a Korea-based developer, and they apparently have cut like almost 80 employees. They had a game in the Xbox showcase last year called Mudang Two Hearts, which looked like a Splinter Cell kind of game that people were like pleasantly surprised about because they hadn't heard of it before, which, you know, always nice. But yeah, apparently it seems like there have been some layoffs there. We don't have full confirmation there. It's a lot of reporting on reporting, which is certainly not my preferred method, but that is a shame. It sounds like it's a lot of people. And again, it is the first known layoffs of the year. So that also bears reporting of, you know, I do talk about all of the layoffs that come out, but this one, like, I was like, oh, fuck. That sucks. So hopefully it's not that, and it's just some kind of weird restructuring, but their website is down, and that's not a good sign of stuff working out. So, yeah. Bad Gunpla rated with a party of 18. Welcome, friends. I assume that Jason was doing some leather working. I'm gonna double check. I'm sure that it'll get mentioned in there, but I want to see what the Blue Sky post said. Oh no, model kits. Okay, there you go. 10 years of Bad Gunpla. So you were doing some model kit building. All right, he wasn't. Okay, so I didn't see that post. So my apologies, Jason. But yeah, I hope. Hello, Jason didn't give us a raid message, so here we are. Oh, okay. Hello, welcome. Model kits are cool day. Hell yeah. Apologize for nothing. Good to see you. Over here on the Build with Baer Workshop, we also think model kits are pretty cool. Even old model kits like this. This is the RX-178 plus the FXA-05D or the G Defender. This is the Super Gundam. I've been building the Super Gundam here. Oh no, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's cool. I do like to kind of see now and again. I just wanted to look up and see what you had said. Gonna make some food. All right, yeah, go make some food. Oh yes, thank you. Yes, I'm Pat Baer, and I have the Build with Baer Workshop, which is of course a play on Build a Baer Workshop. And if you're thinking, Pat, did you start streaming because it was a shower thought of Build with Baer, and you were like, well, I guess I need to make that a thing? Pretty much, yeah. I had wanted to do model kit working. Yes, the Build with Baer Workshop. I'd wanted to do model kit streaming for a while, but really it was the fact that I came up with that, and I was like, well, now I have to fucking do it because I thought of it. But yeah, we're working on the Super Gundam because it's a good name. The 178 is a good model kit, and I love a big backpack, and technically this is a backpack, even though it's a little ship, you know, but it's technically a backpack, and I love this kit. Has a backpack and then another backpack, and I appreciate that. But yeah, I like very large weapons and very large backpacks on a kit. Chunky boots, yes. If a kit has a giant gun, I'm interested. If it has like a big sword or multiple swords, you know, like some of the red frame Astrays that have like samurai swords, but then also the gun is a big sword too, or the backpack becomes an even bigger sword, and it's like, it didn't need all these swords. There's that one Astray that has a big backpack that's also arms, so it can hold 4 swords. And it's just like, no model kit needs 4. This Gundam does not need 4 swords, but it does have 4 hands and 4 arms, so I guess I should do that. Yes, Baby does have a backpack, indeed. Yes. Look, obviously, big gun, like big sniper rifle for a mobile suit, very good, of course. Beam weapons, especially like a beam tomahawk or a beam scythe, just like an unusual beam, obviously very good. But there's something about like, this Gundam has a sword. This Gundam has 2 swords. That's just silly in a way that I can really get behind. It's just good business. It's good silly business that I've always appreciated. But yeah, if you're new here, hi. I build model kits and Lego sets. In 2025, I built 3 jigsaw puzzles because I was looking for something a little different. And so I did Magic the Gathering themed jigsaw puzzles, and it was really fun. So that was a good little time. On Tuesdays, I do something that's not model kit building or construction, generally video games. I'm going to be playing a pixelated fishing game called Cast and Chill tomorrow. But mostly I build model kits. We talk about anime and video games and manga and all kinds of things and things. We've got a new anime season starting, so I'll talk about the first episode of one of those shows in a bit because that is good. I am not often a thing that I will do is that I will do a thing called the pause for the cause. But since I had a bunch of guests join us, we won't do that. We won't do the full ad break thing. But I will mention in chat here, we'll go to this window briefly, very briefly, and I will briefly mention that a video that I would love for you to check out at your leisure, at your own time, when you would like to. If you would want to, you could check out this video. It is the latest episode of a video series I do called Pat Bear's Anime Club. And most recently, I did a live stream. This is the recording of the live stream, where I talked about all of the shows from the fall 2025 season that we just finished up. And I previewed a bunch of shows from the winter 2026 season, which has just started. So you can watch that video and get caught up. You know, the first hour and a half is me talking about the season that was, and then the tail end of the video is me talking about the season that is coming. And so you check that out. And then I have a anime recommendation series called Kuma Baer that I would love for you to check out. Kuma Baer are shorts. They are YouTube shorts. Under a minute of me talking about a topic, recommending something that you should check out. And in this video, I talk about the movie Jinro, The Wolf Brigade. A phenomenal movie that you can watch for free with ads. It's on Tubi, dubbed and subbed. So if you want to check out a very cool movie about fascism and an alternate reality Japan, and the people that are fighting against it, and the people that are going along with the government, trying to have their own sense of justice and seeing how that works out, and some very cool action scenes, and a very moody 90s anime, you should check out that movie. But you should watch my 1 minute where I talk about it. That's about it for that. And all throughout the month of December, and this is still ticking in because I haven't started. You get it. I had 5 videos where I just talked about anime that was available for free with ads, or in the case of the shows that are legally on YouTube that I mentioned. If you have YouTube Premium, you can just watch them without ads. But, you know, like on Tubi, you can just watch it. You watch a whole TV show, you know, if you wanted to. Or so I had stuff from Tubi and stuff from a variety. I can't remember everything. I'm now looking it up because I wrote it down. But yeah, I had stuff from Tubi and stuff from I don't know, some of the other free, so YouTube, as I said, yeah, just some stuff that was available that I thought people should check out. Pluto TV is the other one I wanted to mention. Pluto TV. You can also get stuff there. And then sometimes you can find things for free with ads on like Retro Crush and stuff like that. There is anime out there, you know, You used to be able to, you could watch some stuff on Crunchyroll. There used to be some stuff that was free with ads, but eventually they got rid of all of that, which is like a bummer, but they won the war. So, you know, it is what it is. Unfortunately, we'll go back over the overhead camera. But yeah, those are some videos I'd love you to check out. Hit the follow button if you haven't already, so you know when I go live. I will say this. I might not be the best model kit builder on the internet, and I'm certainly not. I might not do the craziest kits in the world, but I am the most consistent model kit builder on Twitch. Do I have like facts and figures to back that up? I don't have the facts and figures to back that up, but I can tell you that I am consistent when I stream, that I am here Mondays and Thursdays and Saturdays with model kit building streams. I occasionally take a Saturday off. I'm not going to lie to you. I occasionally take a Saturday off. Because sometimes there's professional wrestling on a Saturday night that I want to watch. And so I will watch that. Luckily, the next couple AEW shows are going to be Sundays. And so I don't have to take Saturday night off. But I do choose that because I like to watch professional wrestling in a group chat with some friends. It's nice to do. So, all right. So we need 3 polycaps here. And so I'm going to be lining them up how they attach so that I don't get confused later about which polycap is which. At least one of these, I won't, like H is obvious, but the I, PCN and PCI could be very similar. Who knows? They are kind of similar. They're fairly similar. They're different, but there is a similarity. So line them up like that, and that way, make sure that I put them in correctly, and I'm not mixing things up. And then this one goes like this. That. Okay. And then this one goes like this. And then, always, friends, some of y'all know this stuff. We are going to be attaching here. We have 3 polycaps, and they might not be lined up perfectly. So you just want to go slow, because you want to make sure that you're getting all of them connected on both sides. Otherwise, you'll be dealing with that later. I think we're right. Okay, looks like we're okay here. All snapped together, all good. Little nubbin I can take off here. All right. We're getting some of this arm done here. So we'll get that done. We got that done. Start putting some stuff together here. We need B20 and C14. So we'll get that. This kit, I've talked about this on the stream, so I won't go too far into it. This kit I bought in December 2024. And it sat in my backlog for an entire year. Now, for some people, that's like, oh, only for a year and change? Huh. For me, that's kind of surprising because I am a consistent model kit builder. I go through model kits. And so usually I would have already built it, but it just didn't come up. New stuff came out constantly. Like, it was a pretty good 2025, I should say. 2025 was a pretty good year for new model kits coming out. Between the, of course, the G-Quack stuff, which came out, but also the releases of a lot of the Seed movie, the Seed, Gundam Seed Forever coming out, or Freedom, or whatever it was. But that movie came out, and there were a bunch of kits that came out of that. And some of those kits were pretty damn good. Because the designs in that show, even if it's not my favorite Gundam series, the designs are pretty sweet. So there were some good kits that came out. And also, as I said, I built a bunch of jigsaw puzzles last year, and that took some time. to get all of that together. You know what I'm saying. You understand. So this sat just in my backlog for too long. And so I decided that it was going to be a kit that I was just going to build. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to build it. I have one premium Bandai kit coming in the mail sometime this month. So that'll be good. It's a G Gundam kit. And I'm excited for that. We're getting into the... First of all, any G Gundam kit coming to ban, like any new high-grade G Gundam kit is wild. But the fact that they're like, we're going to put out some of the weird ones. I was like, all right, yeah, okay. I'm excited for it. Because there are some weird, now, like, yeah, there are some weird ass G Gundam kits out there, so it's nice. Do I think they'll ever make a high grade of the Devil Gundam? No, I don't. Do I wish they would? Yes, I do. I think the non-grade Devil Gundam or Dark Gundam, if you're dub only, is incredible, and I would love it if they made an actual good version of that kit, but I don't think they ever will. It's all right. I have the clear plastic version of that, and it's gorgeous. It's terrible. The Devil Gundam is a terrible model kit. The non-grade Devil Gundam. It's not good. Don't let anyone ever tell you it's a good kit, but it's great. That, you know, and that's important. I find that to be actually pretty important, that like sometimes model kits are can be just like whatever, but you can find something to like about them. And I think we'll hold off on the manga discussion. We'll do that another day. I did say it was Manga Monday, but we'll hold off on the manga talk. But we will do some anime discussion. We'll talk about a new series that started in a bit. I'll chat about that. I do need to drink some water because I didn't do my pause for the cause, my long commercial break, which means that I didn't drink a lot of water. I have built in to my daily streams a water break because otherwise I won't do it. And I need to. It's good for the voice. If you haven't had liquid in a bit, you know, water, soda, beer, if you're drinking a wine cooler while watching me stream and build stuff, take a sip, enjoy yourselves, relax. Release the tension. Change the position that you are sitting in if you are a gremlin. And if you are a gremlin, you know what I'm talking about. Your foot could rest on the floor instead of on your chair or on some item that is precariously just close enough from your chair that you rest on there. And you shouldn't. You know you shouldn't be resting your leg on that because it's not a load-bearing box. But you do it anyway. You know, pretzelize yourself into a more stable thing. You know what I mean? It's important to do all that stuff. If you're watching on your phone, move your phone up so that you raise your chin and your head. Because you're doing this. You can raise up. Slowly. Don't do it quickly. Gotta slowly do that. All right, not much ink to put on this arm. There's not a lot of panel lines to take advantage of here to give some definition, but that's okay because there are a lot of panel lines on the legs, so the arms don't really need much. I'm gonna do the shoulder as well, but I did the while I was there, I did the just did the panel line there because sometimes when you go and you add a piece, it makes it so that it's harder to get into the nooks and crannies for a little bit of color for our kits. I need A26. which is 26 right here. There it is. Found it. Let's talk a little bit about an anime that I have been, that I watched the first episode of. We'll give a little bit of a preview. This is an anime that is based on a light novel. I have read the manga of this called Noble Reincarnation. It has like a longer title, but that is the easier one to go with. And yeah, the first episode aired this weekend. And let's see. It's a reincarnation isekai story. Guy died and was reincarnated. I will say this. This is not a story about a guy who is just trying to how do I put this? How do I preface this? Some isekai. If you're unfamiliar with the term isekai, it means different world in Japanese. It is the subgenre where someone generally from like modern day Japan. There are obviously plenty that don't do that. But often it is this person lived in modern day Japan, and most recently a running theme is, and they worked for a black company, they worked for a bad place, and all they did was work, and they never had any time to do anything cool or fun, and then they died, or they were suddenly summoned to another world, and then things happen. Now, reincarnation, so you start as a child, is often one of the go-tos in these kinds of shows, and that is the case for this one. So we don't know much about this one. Sometimes you know a lot, and it's like, oh, I'm using my knowledge from that world. So we don't really know much about Noah, who is the son of the emperor of a kingdom. So he has like some memories. The thing about this one is that I find a little frustrating is it's vague, but it's seemingly vague on purpose, because he's just like smart. Like it makes it clear that he was definitely not a king before or anything. Like, no, he wasn't a noble of any kind, but he has knowledge of like how nobility works. And he was definitely, whoever he was previously, he was definitely like smart and cunning. But because they don't go into it, you can only just be like, the way to watch this show is The Adventures of Smart Baby, is how a friend of mine described it. And I was like, wait, actually, yeah, this is The Adventures of Smart Baby. Smart Baby into smart, like, child into where we are in the manga now. He's still like a preteen. But yeah, so this is the ongoing adventures of Noah, the Smart Baby. So he's born. He realizes, oh, I'm reincarnated. Ooh, I'm a prince. But like, that doesn't fucking matter. I'm like, I can't remember the number. It's something like, he's like he's the 13th. I did write down. He's the 13th son of the emperor. So he's nowhere near the succession line. By the time the emperor, who is incredibly strong, actually retires, like, it ain't gonna be a thing. He's, like, it doesn't matter. He'll have some peerage. When he's born, he's put into he's given lordship of an area. Obviously, he can't do anything about that because he's a baby, but because he has an affinity for water magic. But here's the thing. Noah learns by the age 6. Nobody else understands this but him. His power and strength increases depending on how strong his subjects are in whatever area is his, including people that swear loyalty. If people swear loyalty to him, then he is stronger because of that. Literally, it's about the people. Like, this is an overpowered main character doing his own fucking thing. There's a bunch of stuff that happens in this show, that will happen in the show, that I know from the manga, of him getting stronger and getting more allies. But basically, he just needs people that want to serve him, and he wants like the people to kind of like what he's doing. Not gonna lie, I kind of hope this is gonna turn out like your story so far, that he was like really into stories of King Arthur or something and make a fun change of pace. Yeah. Right now, there's no hint of that. It more seems that this is just a thing where they were like, it doesn't matter. They just wanted to have a smart baby. Like, if you just told me that he was born like incredibly brilliant, like that's basically the extent of it as far as isekais go. It almost seems like not important that he was reborn, just that he has like cunning. Anyway, the thing that is coming here is that the more people that swear loyalty to him, the stronger he gets. His stats go up, which is unusual, and he kind of keeps that a secret. But also, if someone swears loyalty to him and they're lying, he'll know, because if they're strong, then his stats should go up because he can see his stats. But if they don't go up, then he's like, okay. He gets visited by the Crown Prince Albert. He is obviously the first son, the guy who will be the next king. And Henry, who is the fourth prince. And they test the 6-year-old by putting a cursed sword in his presence. A sword so cursed that it eats the life force of somebody else that was just fucking standing there, or the attendant that was bringing it in. Because they were like, this'll be funny. But here's the thing. Noah's fucking strong. He's a very strong 6-year-old because he has a whole area of people who are like, they haven't met their lord, but they're hoping that it'll be great. I mean, so the idea, Elfie, is just basically that like they're just being dicks because who cares, right? It's their 6-year-old, like it's survival of the fittest, right? Like, oh, we didn't do anything. We just like brought a sword over. Oops. You know, that kind of thing. They're just being dicks. But anyway, Noah is fucking pissed off because his oldest brother tried to kill him. But Leviathan is this special sword. And Leviathan is just like, you're strong. I'm sticking with you, basically. But he can't do anything about the Crown Prince. So he's just like, all right, I guess I'll just keep getting stronger. And so hopefully they won't mess with me. He gets to keep the sword. Later, his maid Zoe is trying to quit because Zoe's mother, her farm, there was a flood. And so the relatives are like, you have to quit being a maid and you have to earn money another way, which is crazy because working for the 13th prince is still going to pay better than anything else, but they're trying to figure something out. And so Noah's just like, no, I like you. You're not quitting on me. I'll just buy the town. That way he can protect the farmers. He can, he wins the like obviously he is doing this to win the loyalty of Zoe, because she will obviously be indebted to him if he is protecting her and saving the town. He's doing this for very selfish reasons, but also he is saving not only Zoe's mother and Zoe, but also saving like a bunch of other farmers, because now this town is under the direct protection of the 13th prince, and so it's going to bring in a bunch of benefits and all that. And so now a bunch of people think that Noah is pretty great. Let's see. He got Henry, the fourth prince, who maybe he doesn't. I don't think he feels bad, but he maybe feels a little bad that like they tricked his brother. Is just like, hey, just so you know, you don't want to use Leviathan unless it recognizes you as its master. Which, hey, it will, because our main character is super strong. Noah finds out that one of the local government officials has been stealing disaster relief funds, and so the farmers who he took under his wing to protect are starving, and he's doing it openly. And Noah is again, the people are power. These are his strength, selfishly, but also they're his fucking people. And this guy is blatantly disrespecting the place that he laid claim to. So Noah is fucking the most pissed off 6-year-old you've ever seen. And then Leviathan, the cursed sword, is just like, this guy's fury is awesome. Guess what? You're my master now. Booyah. Just a dude. Hey, first episode, a dude dies. A dude just dies for fucking around and finding out via 6-year-old with magical sword. And then the Knight Commander, who didn't know this was happening, apparently, arrests the accomplices and says, like, all right, we're going to make sure the farmers get fed. And then the first prince, Albert, the crown prince, is very excited that Noah has tamed Leviathan, the cursed sword, and is just like, all right, maybe my little brother is going to be used to me someday. He's not looking at the big picture. Noah's gonna be a big deal, obviously. We know that because he's the main character of the anime. And then the Emperor is psyched, and the Emperor is just like, all right, you did great there. Obviously, the Emperor knows all the stuff that's going on. We find out that more later, but it's easy enough to guess. The Emperor knows, and he's constantly just testing his many sons to see what's up and what they're doing. But it's pretty obvious that he's like aware of what's going down because of his, knowledge and power and spy network or whatever. The Emperor is like, I'm going to give you more responsibilities. Again, a reminder, this character is 6 years old. It's anime. What are you going to do? He's a special 6-year-old. And that is, yeah. So my opinion from watching more or for reading a lot of this is I don't necessarily have the worst opinion on the father because he is the Emperor of Vast Kingdom, and by all accounts, he is a good emperor. It's just that he does have that like medieval like thought of, well, just because they're my sons doesn't mean they're going to be awesome. And so he's like constantly not even pitting them against each other, constantly giving them, like you might say, testing them, right? Or he might say giving them opportunities to shine or to like to advance or whatever. Like, you could look at it like that if you wanted to, but yeah, he's testing them and trying to see what's going on. Is Noble Reincarnation a top tier anime? No. It's a good one of these. It's a good power fantasy show. There's a lot of political intrigue stuff in this one. You do get to see it's not a big spoiler. He's gonna get stronger and have more powers and do more cool stuff. But he does have a level of justice, which is interesting. And again, part of it is that he is a very strong little boy, and that is kind of fucking funny and cool. That he is just a really tough baby, basically. It's silly business and enjoyable. So I can't tell you for sure that I will be talking about this weekly. There might be other stuff that comes out on days that I want to talk about, but most likely I will. I do like isekai. I do like this bullshit. I mentioned this in the longer video talking about this upcoming season, that we do have at least 2 boys love isekai, which is kind of a rare subgenre of a subgenre, and it's interesting they're all coming out this season, but I'm like, that's cool. One of them, which I know is very good, one of which I bet is, from the trailer, did not look like it had an animation budget, but one of which, the bean counter one, I know is pretty fucking strong, so I am excited about that. Because I do like an isekai. You know, that is a thing about me. I do like an otherworld anime, and there are a bunch of them this season. As I said earlier in the stream, I really hope the Dragon Hatchling does get picked up, because I have read some of that manga and I like that manga, so I'm hoping the anime looked good too. So, you know, based on the trailer, right? Like, you can only glean so much from a trailer, but sometimes a trailer will let you know if there is a budget for animation. If they're not animating the trailer too much, then you can kind of guess that they don't have a budget for things, or motion isn't their priority, and maybe they just spent all their money on voice actors because they think that's the thing that's going to be the most important. Sometimes it is. But yeah, I am of the crazy opinion that anime should be animated and you know, and lively. But, you know, some shows are not that. So we did not build a hand for this side because we're going to put the hand on later when we build the weapon that goes in there. There also is one of my least favorite. This is, if I have to talk about one thing that really bums me out about older model kits, it's this. The beam saber here is all one piece and all one color, and the hand to hold the beam saber is attached and is also the same color. Obviously, this kit will never hold a beam saber like this because I hate it. I hate that the other hands are black, but then the one holding the beam saber is white. This does not happen in modern kits, of course, but in older kits, that is a thing. This is an older kit. It is what it is. Honestly, it's because this was a re-release of a kit that was like an early 2000s, late 90s kit, and they just did it. It's lazy. It's just lazy work on that end. You know, they hadn't fully figured out how to have good beam sabers be held in the hands, and so they did what they could. Watch Captain says, I'm 44 and just got into anime in the last few years. Yeah, so they didn't update it, right? We can look at this here real quick. Watch, I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. So this kit is a 2002 release, but this is not plastic from 2002, right? This came out sometime later. What year? I don't actually know when this came out, but it is a design from 2002. But the RX-178 actual design is probably even earlier than that. It's probably even before that. And in 2002, they just did the backpack and re-released the 178 as a joint unit. That's most likely the case. I don't know for sure. But my guess is that the 178 is even older than that. It says 2002, but I think this might even be an older design. So generally, there won't be much upgrades. Often the sticker, the actual like printing of the stickers might be a little better than it was previously. The instructions, they could do a reissue of the instructions, which sometimes they do, and which is nice. But generally, the design is going to be from 2002 and it's just that the plastic isn't that old. And so you're dealing with old designs and they don't update it. They don't modernize it. Sometimes they will put out new versions of old kits and then they will do the work. But that is That is not something that Bandai necessarily always does. It can be a shame. But it is nice to look at these older kits and go, look how far we've come. Like, starting with the starting with Gundams from Witch from Mercury, no polycaps or limited polycaps. Sometimes for some weird attachments they still do polycaps, but like almost no polycaps in modern kits, which is like a huge leap forward, honestly. Like that's huge to be in that part. Watch says, I'm building the high grade RX-782 from Origins right now. It's my second model. Heck yeah, that's a good one. So to go with what Watch Captain was saying about just getting into anime now, like that's awesome, right? Like a thing that a lot of people think about any kind of cartoon, any kind of animation, is that in their heads it's for kids, right? Because that's what they watched first. That's some of their first shows. Some of their first shows were animated. And then, like, America, specifically in America, has kind of understood that, like, oh, there's cartoons for, like, teens, and there's also cartoons for, like, adults and for anybody. And then it didn't necessarily click with a lot of people that means for other countries that make animation as well. Because, like, you know, anime is just a medium. It is not like a genre. Like Spike TV tried to do. Well, yeah, I mean, Adult Swim, right? Toonami was a thing that was like, oh, hey, we're gonna bring over cartoons late at night for an older audience, but also we're gonna do original cartoons. Like, Americans understand that, like, The Simpsons and South Park are different beasts in some ways from one another, but also different from a cartoon that, like, is on PBS. Like, Arthur and The Simpsons are different fucking things, right? And, like, we get that. But it didn't always translate to understanding that, like, other countries also get that and do that. I talk about how, I've talked about this previously, the example I love to use is Hara Yoridango. Hara Yoridango is just a soap opera. It aired in the afternoons, and it appealed to Japanese housewives. And it was just a soap opera that happened to be animated. But, like, young boys traditionally, I'm generalizing, young boys were not drawn to a story about a high school girl and, you know, the jealousy that other people felt towards her because she had a male friend who was very popular. Like, that just didn't register with, like, younger kids because they were watching Doraemon and Case Closed, Detective Conan, but they were watching other stuff. And that's been the case since they started doing anime, you know, really. You know, it's like Astro Boy was aimed at children and young adults, but then, like, it's going from Astro Boy to adult anime that you have to buy on Laserdisc and you have to know a guy. That's like the matter of years. Like not necessarily Laserdisc, but home release, like home VHS stuff, like like that's. There's not much of a gap between, like, it's cartoons for kids and it's cartoons for adults. Like, Japan just got there pretty quickly, where they were like, oh, this is just a cool medium for doing a bunch of shit. Well, we'll just do that. And I think that sometimes when people say, like, oh, like, anime is just kind of like, oh, all new anime is bad. And it's like, oh, well, you're just watching, like, cheap TV garbage, right? Like, it's a medium. There's going to be bad examples and trash examples and, like, brilliant stuff and stuff that's, like, really funny and weird and well done and schlocky and heartwarming and sad and bizarre. You know, like it's a whole medium. So like it's got a lot of examples. Like some of the coolest stuff is happening on YouTube. Like there's some really cool anime that is just like bypassing the system. They got funding to just make it and put it out there, and it's completely bypassing the big business elements of it. And it's like that whips ass. And there's other stuff that is struggling to find an audience and on TV in Japan, or it's just streaming only. And thank God that, you know, like a streaming service picked it up for international distribution, or it came out, you know, like whatever. Like there's a lot of stuff. You know, there's a bunch of anime we'll never see unless we speak Japanese natively, because it's meant for children and therefore doesn't get a dub. Because localization efforts on that haven't appealed necessarily to people. Like occasionally some stuff does sneak through, and there is like a market for it where they're like, oh, this apparently is brilliant, let's license that. But most of the kid stuff doesn't get brought over here, because it's just easier to produce cartoons where English is the first language. You know, that's just kind of the way it is. Unless it becomes an international hit. There are some stuff that does come over here because it becomes very popular in Europe or something. Like sometimes it gets dubbed, or Latin America. I mean, I've talked about that before. The shows that hit big in Latin America, that some of which also hit big here, but like Saint Seiya is not a household name for even people when it was airing. When it came to America, it wasn't like the biggest anime in the world, and it never did super big numbers. But the various Latin American dubs of Saint Seiya did gangbusters. That's one of the the biggest anime to ever exist. One of the biggest anime franchises ever was in Latin America, because they just really fucking loved it. They just had such a good time with that, which is fun, which is cool that like to have that, to have like one of the biggest anime in the world, and America never really liked it. That's cool because it's global audiences, right? Like as much as we are often focused on our own, you know, like, oh well, that show didn't do well here, so it must not be good. It's like, sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes it does, but not always. Death Note was your first anime? Yeah, I mean, like, I can see that being a place to kind of dip your toes into, because it is it's a drama with supernatural elements, because maybe that's something that piques your interest. It's got it's got a lot of like intrigue and like twists and turns, so that's like a thing that is fun to check out. It's not the same in that the main character, like obviously Death Note is somewhat unique in that while he is likable to some people, the main character is not meant to be likable and not meant to be the hero of his own story, but not necessarily meant to be likable. It's not the same kind of vibe, but there is a thing called oh god, what is the title? I don't remember the full title. Can't remember the full title. Damn. Oh, it's the death. It's not Death Girl. I'm gonna look to see if I can figure out what I'm talking about here. But it's similar to Death Note in some ways. Is it in there? No. Let's see. Can I find it? Nope. No, I don't have it written down here. Murder, Death Girl. Damn. I wish I could remember the name of this one. How about a head that solves mysteries? Anime. I'm mad that I can't remember the name of this one. There it is. Undead Murder Farce. Jesus. Undead Murder Farce is the name of this anime. Came out a few years ago. Undead Murder Farce. It is about a girl who is immortal, but her body gets stolen, so she is just a head with a maid carrying her around, and a guy who has the powers of a demon, and he will slowly over time lose all of his he will lose his sanity and eventually become a monster. But there is a cure because he wasn't always supposed to be like that. They team up to find the person that did something to him, who also is the same person that stole her body. And along the way, they interact with, investigate, and also fight famous historical figures from historical fiction, like Moriarty. There are some real people who were supposedly like a cult that are involved in it, but mostly it's just like, hey, some vampires got murdered. Please solve the case. And they just solve mysteries. They solve like 1 to 2 to 3 episode mysteries, while also the big bads of like, oh shit, Frankenstein's monster is here. Fuck. We got to fight Frankenstein's monster. God damn it. And it's really fucking fun and cool. So that is, to me, vibe-wise, a little similar to Death Note in that it is a fantasy. It is a modern world. It's like a Elizabethan modern world, but it's a modern world with fantasy elements. But it's kind of like a weird procedural. But I would say like the characters are fun and likable and like not edgelordy, which is a little bit more of what you're getting with Death Note. Death Note has some edgelordness to it, while also being like is he going to get away with it? Oh, how is he going to get out of this one? That kind of thing, which can be interesting. You might also want to try Lazarus, which came out last year, which I wanted to love more than I did. Lazarus is it's like a team, like a special ops group of weirdos who are kind of thrust together, and they have to track down a guy that is maybe going to kill the entire world's population. So they have to track him down and like find him. It is a pretty good series. I mean, that series is more like pizzazz than it is like quality. I think it like is very pretty and the animation is gorgeous. I think it doesn't do enough work with the characters. Like there are some dramatic moments in it that I'm like, you didn't spend any time with this person. Like, yeah, I get in a vacuum. I'm sad that this person is reuniting with people that thought she was dead and are having a fucking rough time of that reunion. And like, I can like understand why that is bad or rough, but also you did not do anything to make me care about this character previously. So what are we even doing here? That kind of thing. But Lazarus has a lot of fucking style. Definitely got style in spades. All right, I'll put all the polycaps in this later. All right. Goes there. Is it A4 and then A3? A3 is the back piece, but we're not ready to put that back piece in there because I'm going to need polycaps to do that. So we got to put that there, we put that there, and then we'll add all the extra fun junk on as we go. I will be doing a poll for my $10 patrons about what I should be doing next. I don't necessarily, I think by the end of Thursday's stream, I will finish this kit because I'll, finish the chest, the backpack, and then the weapons and the shield. And there's a couple stickers I have to apply. But I think I'm getting pretty close to finishing this model kit. So I will do a poll for my $10 patron supporters to decide what I build next. I've got some fun options. I'm a little miffed. I bought something from USA Gundam store and hasn't shipped yet, let alone gotten here yet. I understand because of the holiday, like they did such numbers. But I have now gotten 2 emails from them that basically are like, hey, we're sorry that it hasn't shipped yet, and we're sorry. And the first one I was like, oh, I totally understand. And the one I got today, I was like, I mean, I fucking get it, but also, I didn't tell you to do all these sales. Like, I know that it's necessary, especially in 2025 into 2026. I totally understand that, like, man, any money you can get in with shipping and import fees and all this other stuff that's been happening, like, I totally get it. But, like, I've gotten 2, sorry, your shit hasn't been mailed yet emails. I'm like, all right, just fucking please do. I want the model kit that I bought. I'm not going to buy another kit from them until I get the money, or until this one ships, and I have some money that I can spend in there. So I'm like, all right, well, get it together, USA Gundam store. Let's see. Yeah, all right, that's it. Okay. All right, I'm going to call it there for tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. If you came in on the raid and hung out, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's always kind of you. We are also going to raid. That is how we end every stream around here. So we will get ready for that. I don't often raid people that are building model kits because that's just not who is streaming at this time generally. But we will find someone who's doing cool stuff and we'll go hang out with them and see what they're doing. Let's see. Mary Kish is hanging out, playing a game called Routine. So we're gonna go hang out with Mary. It is Monday, so it's Merry Monday. I want to thank you all so much for being here, especially those that stuck around because you came in from Bad Gunpla. So thank you very much for that. And then also a reminder that my next stream is tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's not a model kit building stream. It is a video game stream. I'm playing Cast and Chill, which is a voxel, like a pixel thing about fishing that is apparently quite good and fun and chill. So that sounds neat. So we'll check that out tomorrow. So I hope you come along. I hope you come along the raid. I hope you come back tomorrow at 9 p.m. for more of that. More model kit building on Thursday. Thank you all so much for being here. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.